Welcome everyone to the webinar Benchmark and Optimize Warranty Management, hosted by Mize, with leading warranty experts from the industry. I'm Alan Horn, Business Development Director of Management at Mize, and I will be your moderator for this webinar today. The webinar agenda includes presentations on key findings from SFG's 2019 Warranty Chain Management Survey by Bill Pollock, who's president of SFG. We also have a State of the Warranty Industry by Eric Arnum, who's editor of Warranty Week. And we also have Best Practices to Optimize Warranty Management by Ashok Kartham, who's CEO of Mize. These will all be followed by a Q&A with the panel after the presentations. Now, I do want to inform you of some details today to help you get the most out of our webinar. First of all, the webinar is being recorded, and the recording and the presentations will be made available to you after the webinar is complete. All attendees will be muted during the webinar, but you can go to post questions at any time by using the question panel in the GoToWebinar widget. All right, first I want to invite Bill Pollock, President and Principal Consulting Analyst at Strategies for Growth, an independent research analyst and services consulting firm. Bill?
Thank you very much, Alan, for that introduction. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you attending today for this webcast. Those of you who know me and some of the webcasts I've done in the past, you know that I present a lot of material. Since we're sharing the podium with Eric Arnum and Ashok from Mize, we're not presenting everything that we have from our survey data, but that's why it's important that Mize has graciously agreed to distribute our analyst take paper, which provides all of the data and information between the lines that you might want to see. You can always ask us questions, but the takeaway would also have quite a bit of information for you. So anyway, just to get started, what I'd like to do is, before I present any data, I always like to let the audience know where the data came from, when we conducted the survey, who responded to it. So the survey was launched on October 30th of this past year. It was live on the web for 48 days, and we got 105 total respondents. As far as the types of respondents, 87% were at the manager, director, or C level, with the remaining 13% being administrators, technicians, things of that nature. Fairly bell-shaped curves with respect to the sizes of the organizations, ranging from less than 100 employees to more than 10,000 employees and even greater. This represents a microcosm of the world of warranty chain management. About 80% of the responses came from the United States and Canada. Most of the rest came from the UK and Europe. So that should give you a clear picture of where we got the data. So basically, the first thing that we looked at is we wanted to gauge how many organizations out there were currently using a warranty management process, whether it was manual or automated or anything in between. And what we found is that more than a third were either using an all-manual process or no formal warranty management process at all. And, that's a little discouraging, but these are the numbers that we've been getting over the past couple or few years in our annual surveys. So there hasn't been much change there. There have been some significant changes, and I'll tell you about them in just a minute. So if you aggregate those organizations that are partially automated and fully automated with respect to their warranty management activities, we get roughly 2/3, 63%, that are in that automated segment. However, before we get too excited about that 63%, almost as many, 56%, are currently running in an all-manual or partially automated environment. So we still have a way to go as an industry in terms of transforming our warranty management operations from manual to automated. But one thing that's very encouraging is if you look at this slide, 27%, more than a quarter, say their process is fully automated currently, and only 20% say it's all manual currently. So this represents a flip-flop from what we've seen in the past couple or few years of our annual surveys, where the manual nature of some of the organizations was larger than the fully automated nature. So we are seeing a move toward automation. It's not likely to be fully automated next year or the year after or even 3 to 5 years from now. But the industry is making some great strides forward in terms of automating the warranty management activities. And another good sign for the expansiveness and the expansion of the industry is that overall annual warranty budgets are largely expected to increase over the next 12 months. So what we have here is that, again, nearly two-thirds, 62%, are saying that our annual budgets for warranty management are going to increase. And what's really good news about that is 21%, or 1 out of 5, just over, are saying it's going to increase by greater than 10%. So this, again, signifies the expansion of the marketplace. And if you're spending more money to do something, in most cases, it's because you've already recognized the return you're going to get. So it looks like a healthy and growing industry that way. Still, there are 18%, nearly 1 out of 5, that expect their annual budgets to decrease over the next 12 months. But that's not necessarily a problem, because some of these organizations, probably more than a third, maybe not quite half, are decreasing their annual budgets because since they've moved toward a more automated state, their costs have decreased. So their budgets for conducting their annual warranty management activities have actually decreased. So their budgets have decreased as well. So overall, what we're finding is that when you divide the two numbers into each other, you see that the increases over decreases expected in the next 12 months is by a factor of greater than 3 to 1. And once again, this represents a healthy industry moving forward. But still, regardless of how healthy any market segment is, organizations like yours are faced with a number of things. They're faced with challenges. They've got market drivers that dictate to them what strategic actions they're going to take, and then they've got to decide which specific actions are most important, how they're going to put them forward, and plan for the future for additional strategic actions once the first set are executed and prove to be successful. So what we're looking at here now is the challenges. And what we see is the way we ask the question is not which of the following represent challenges to your organization. It's which of the following represent the top 3 challenges to your organization. So a majority, again, nearly two-thirds, 63%, are saying that the identification of the root causes of product failures represent one of the top 3 greatest challenges that we face in conducting our business. And when we look a little bit further, delve down deeper, we see that nearly half are saying cost recovery from suppliers is also a great challenge, one of the top 3. And what we've seen from past surveys is that the identification of the root causes has downticked somewhat in terms of its intensity as a challenge, but the cost recovery from suppliers has moved up the ladder here, if you will, in terms of being an even greater challenge today than it was in the past. And this is why Ashok, when he talks in his portion of the webinar, will be able to tell you what a company like Mize and its solution does in terms of helping you to recover the costs from the suppliers. But still, there are more challenges that are being faced. And the way to look at this table is not to say, hey, let's pick off the first one or the second one. When you look at the 28 to 30%, we're talking about greater than a quarter of the respondents and just up to just under a third are saying repair management, claims processing time and accuracy, and the sales of extended warranties all represent one of our top 3 challenges. So I think one way to put this in even greater perspective is to look at some of the other challenges. Now, other research firms typically only show you the first 5 or 6 items on a list, and then they move on to the next question. What we believe in is the deltas. What's different in the industry? What should you be looking at that maybe your competitors or peers are not looking at? And among the other challenges here, we see from 16% to 25%. So that's from 1 out of 6 to 1 out of 4 respondents say among our top 3 challenges are the high levels of no faults found, administrative costs, our warranty reserve accrual management, and reverse logistics management. So it would be a mistake, in my opinion, to focus on the previous chart and just look at those challenges and put these aside for a while. You need to prioritize, and in your individual market spaces, maybe something like the high levels of NFFs is more important to your organization than it is to another organization. So you have to look at all of the challenges and put everything in perspective that way. But what do you do with the challenges? The challenges go kind of hand in hand with the principal drivers. So you know what the challenges are. Now, which of them is going to be driving your warranty management initiatives into the future over the next 12 months and beyond? So what we see here is we've got 3 clusters, if you will. There are the customer-focused drivers, post-sale customer satisfaction issues, always number 1 in all of the surveys we do, whether it's for warranty management, reverse logistics, field service management. This is the factor or the attribute that always is cited as the top challenge by the most respondents. But if you look at them individually, you're missing the boat. What customers are looking for is they want to be satisfied. You want to retain them. You want to improve your customer retention, and they're looking for improved warranty services. So basically, whether it's 40, 43, 60%, it's almost irrelevant. They go hand in hand. You can't do one without the others. Basically, if you improve your warranty services, your customers will be more satisfied, and the more satisfied they are, the more likely they are to be loyal to your organization. Your customer retention levels will get high. Now, it's not that simple. It's not rocket science to understand. It's not that simple to execute, but at least you now have your marching orders. You know how the world around you in warranty management is looking at their drivers, and hopefully they'll coincide with the drivers that you're facing at your organization. But there are other segments as well. Product quality focused is also very important, and what we see here is product defect related costs and dealing with inferior or deficient product quality. So it looks like second tier here, and it is to the customer focus. However, you're not going to gain or attain customer satisfaction unless you take care of some of these product quality issues as well. Now, the third cluster is only one line item, and it's profit focused. And the key thing to look at here is if I were presenting this portion of the webcast 11 years ago or 15 or even 20 years ago, the chart would look pretty much the same. But 10 years ago, when we had that economic meltdown and the stock market tanked in the U.S., this got all flip-flopped. The number 1 cluster was product quality and process quality issues. The number 2 was customer-focused issues. And the number 3 was a mandate to improve services revenue. So the market has gone back to normal, back to normalcy. This chart looks like it would have 11, 12, 13 years ago with one minor change. Instead of revenue-focused, it's now profit-focused. So most organizations that you compete against are dealing in a situation where, you know, in the past we might have increased our revenues, but we're not making any more money. So now this is their marching order and your marching order that we need to take steps not just to improve our revenue forecast. We need to make more money, more profit. There are other key drivers which focus around various costs and revenues that we talked about before. And, you know, maybe 10, 12 years ago, service revenues would have been on the previous slide and profits on this slide. But we're a much more profit-oriented society now. So that's why that flip-flop is taking place. Supply chain is still important, and compliance. And again, at 10%, compliance to regulatory requirements doesn't look like it's that important, but if 1 out of 10 of the marketplace says that's one of our top 3 drivers, then it's important and something that you need to deal with as well. So to put everything in perspective, what do you do about all of this information that you have? Well, the key strategic actions that we have here are listed out. I've got to go quickly through the slides, but that's why I would suggest that you take advantage of Mize offering you the Analyst Take Report. But what I wanted to highlight in this presentation is the top 2 factors go hand in hand. Again, improving planning and forecasting activities for warranty management, and developing or improving your metrics or KPIs for measuring your performance. So in other words, you're performing at a level now. Measure them, measure your KPIs, then take steps to make improvements with respect to planning and forecasting. And then once that's in place, measure them again. That will tell you whether you've succeeded or not and what areas you might need to focus on a little bit more. But there's also another set of factors here that I think is important. The numbers aren't high very now, but they're getting higher each time we conduct the survey. Restructuring for greater management oversight and accountability, and restructuring to update existing warranty pricing schedule. Now, at 9%, that doesn't look very important, but it didn't even register in past surveys. Now it's registering, and what we're going to see is more focus on we're making these improvements, we're spending money to get state-of-the-art solutions to do so. How are we going to get our money back? We need to price our services properly. So the most important KPIs that companies like yours are presently using, customer satisfaction, always number 1 in our surveys. And this isn't just a laundry list. This is the singular most important KPI cited by respondents. Number 2, total warranty costs at 17%. Number 3, analysis cycle time at 11%. But if you take the warranty costs per product and the reimbursement cycle time and factor them into the appropriate line items above, what we're seeing is we're measuring, satisfying the customers, we're looking at our costs, and we have to take care of our cycle times. They're the most important issues. So to close out on my section, basically what we're looking at is there's a mixed performance out there. We took a look at the mean averages for the key ratios. 81% mean average for customer satisfaction in this year's survey. And that's declined somewhat, just a point from last year, 2017, or just over a year ago. But it's declined 4 points from 85% in 2016. And also the warranty claims processing time at 9.6 days declined from 7.6 days just over a year ago. So this shows the need for the industry as a whole to start recalibrating, getting its act together, taking more steps to focus on improving customer satisfaction and processing time. So this doesn't look too bad in and of itself. However, what we want to do is take a look at the organizations that are not attaining even those industry averages that have been on the decline. 60% are not attaining at least a 90% customer satisfaction. Well, that's not a big deal in and of itself, but almost half, 45%, are not attaining at least 80% customer satisfaction. So if you're below 85%, you need to improve. If you're in the mid to upper 70s, you really need to improve. But almost a third, 30%, are not attaining at least 70% customer satisfaction. You're really behind the curve, behind the 8 ball, if you're only satisfying 2/3 or less of your customers. And about 3/4 are not attaining 2 days or less warranty claims processing time. Not terrible. Majority, 58%, not attaining 4 days or less. Again, not awful, but a third taking 15 days or more for warranty claims processing time. So these are the particular areas where if you find yourself in the bottom rungs of those 2 last bullet points, then you need some help, and that's where Ashok can lead you forward. So just to close, I'm not going to read these couple of pages. You can read them in detail from the Analyst take paper that Mize is going to distribute. I just wanted to make one last comment that nearly two-thirds, again, 63% of respondents are managing service as a profit center. And that's very helpful because if you're focusing more on profits, and among the key profit or market drivers are the mandate to improve your profits, you're probably more attuned to take the proper steps to address that driver and improve your profit margins and making your company more sound financially. So take a look at our Analyst take paper, and you'll be able to get that from Mize. This is what the front cover looks like, and Alan at the end will tell you exactly how you can get a copy of that. Thank you very much, and turning this back to Alan, and he'll introduce our next speaker.
Okay, yes, Bill, thank you very much. Those are some great insights you shared with us in your 2019 Warranty Chain Management Benchmark Update and Survey. So, to our webinar attendees now, I do want to point out again, Bill is going to be available for questions. That'll be at the end of the presentations. In the meantime, you can post questions for Bill or for any of our panelists in the question panel, which is in the GoToWebinar widget. All right, next, I want to move over to our next presentation and invite Eric Arnum, who is the editor of Warranty Week, which is an online publication written for the warranty industry professional. And Eric is going to share with us about the state of warranty and service contracts industry. So Eric, this is back over to you now.
Thank you very much, Alan, and thank you, Bill, for that very detailed presentation. What I want to do this afternoon is present to you 8 separate snapshots of the actual numbers in the warranty industry in the United States. The source of all this data is actually the companies themselves, the manufacturers and retailers who are providing product warranties, their financial statements, their quarterly and annual reports. Let's look at the first slide. This is the automotive industry. This is cars and trucks. Cars in dark blue, trucks in light blue. As you can see, it's been fairly level for the past 3 years. There are 2 things I want to point out to you on this chart. One is the dip from 2009 to pretty much 2014. That's the lingering effects of the Great Recession. And then that tall stack that you see in 2014, that's the result of the General Motors ignition switch recall. So far, we only have 9 months of data for 2018. The fourth quarter data should start to arrive in late February and early March as these companies put out their annual reports. But through the first 9 months of 2018, the passenger car and small vehicle industry has paid out about $5.7 billion in claims. And the heavy trucks and large vehicles, they paid out about $2.1 billion in claims. So for the cars, that's up about 5% from the same period of 2017. For the trucks, it's about the same as in 2017. So that's the dollars being spent on warranty claims in the auto industry. Let's go to the next slide. Here we're looking at pretty much the same data, but we're measuring it as a percentage of sales. The red line is claims, the green line is accruals, and once again, the 2 distinguishing features that you see here in even more stark contrast than figure 1. You see the recession peaking in 2009, and you see the GM ignition switch recall peaking in 2014. The average here is about 2.2% for the green line and 2.4% for the red line, and that's over 63 quarters, 16 years of data. So it's a pretty reliable average. You can figure that the vehicle industry in the United States is averaging around 2.3%, if you want to put it that way. The last thing I wanted to point out to you on this chart is if you look at the red line, it turned up a little bit. It went up above 2.5% in the third quarter of 2018. Let's look at the next slide. We're looking at the suppliers of the vehicle manufacturers. I've divided them into two pieces. The powertrain suppliers, who make the engines, the transmissions, axles, things like that, and all the other parts suppliers, making everything from brakes and lights and interiors and seating and carpeting to, you name it. Here, again, fairly stable. The powertrain suppliers are about the same in 2018 as they have been in 2017, but the other parts suppliers have seen their warranty claims totals fall about 10% so far this year. We'll see if that holds up through the fourth quarter. Because they're suppliers, the accounting gets a little bit messy, and sometimes they jam a whole lot into the fourth quarter that maybe should have been there in the third or following year's first quarter. So let's see if it stays down 10%. Look at the next slide. Once again, we're looking at it as a percentage of revenue. The reason that I, said that on the last slide is that you can see at the very far right, the green line really has soared from, around 0.9% to over 1.5%. That's because Cummins is having some problems with their diesel engine emissions warranties, and they set aside a whole lot of money in the third quarter to pay for some of that. So that's what I mean about the fourth quarter being unclear so far. Once again, even here you see the effect of the recession in the red line jumping up by so much in 2009. But the reason for that green line going up, as I said, is Cummins. Let's look at a different industry. Next slide. We're looking at the electronics industry, high-tech industry, whatever you want to call it. Computers and consumer electronics, telecom equipment, medical equipment, semiconductors, printed circuit boards, disk drives and data storage systems, and peripherals such as monitors and printers. What you see here in these 7 different industries is a very definite dip in the claims paid in 2017 and so far in 2018. That does not seem to be temporary. It seems to be a definite downturn in computer sales and some of the peripherals and other categories. Definitely a downturn in consumer electronics. But remember now, this is U.S. manufacturing. So companies like Samsung and Sony and other importers are not being counted here. So it's just U.S.-based companies. Most of that consumer electronics, in fact, back in 2007, 2008, 2009, much of that spending in consumer electronics was coming from Microsoft for the Xbox. So far in 2018, telecom equipment is way down. Semiconductors is way up. Everything else is about the same as it was in 2017. Let's look at another group of industries. This is, I don't quite know what to call this. I call it residential warranty. You could call it the building trades, or I don't know. If anybody can come up with a suitable name, I'd appreciate it. But it's all of the industries that deal with homes and offices, buildings, and construction, things like that. You see here the appliances, major appliances, heating, air conditioning. The home builders themselves, the companies that make the roofing and windows and cabinets and flooring and carpeting, power generation, material handling, security equipment, and I even threw in here sports equipment, such as football helmets and hockey sticks and the machinery that you put in your home for exercise and things like that. Again, not much change. Material handling is up, way up. It's up by 22% so far in 2018. Everything else is more or less stable. Appliances are up about 14%. The home builders are up about 14%, which is something of a surprise because, if you read the newspaper, you're hearing about a slowdown in home building. Well, there's no slowdown in home building warranty claims. Let's look at the next slide. What we're looking at here is everybody. Well over 500, may even be 600 companies in the United States who are providing warranties worldwide. Used to be more companies, but there's been a whole lot of consolidation, mergers, acquisitions, and even some European and Asian companies are now buying up some of the American companies. When that happens, we lose access to the reports of their warranties. I do have some data on European auto and Asian auto. I'm not including it here, but so I mean we don't lose it to history, but it's not included here. We're looking just at U.S. based companies, their worldwide spending on warranties. The most notable thing to see here is that when I first started collecting this data back in 2003, we were basically averaging about 1.8% of revenue being spent on warranty. And by 2012, that had fallen under 1.3%. It doesn't sound like much, but a 0.5% decline in expense rates is enormous when you're talking about $1 trillion worth of products. And once again, you see here in 2008, you see the 2009, you see the jump in the claims rate from the recession. That basically, it's not that claims suddenly soared. What happened was revenue suddenly fell. So when you're dividing one by the other, that's what happens. But more or less, there was a 10-year trend from 2003 to 2012 of declining warranty expense rates. And then, I don't know what happened. This is still an open question. Rates started going back up. The expense rates started climbing once again. And they climbed until 2014, then they started falling again. And then they started rising, then they started falling. So the trend has been very unclear for the past 6 years. As clear as it was for the first 10 years of this chart, it's been very muddled, to say the least, for the last 6. One final chart I want to show to you, that's the extended warranty industry, or at least the consumer portion of the extended warranty industry. I'm looking at, 8 different categories of consumer service contracts, extended warranties, whatever you want to call them, but basically it's the protection plans that you can buy from retailers, or in the case of home warranties, if you're buying or selling an existing home. Everything from furniture stains to mechanical breakdowns on your vehicles, the insurance on your cell phones, your smartphones, which also can include theft and loss protection, consumer electronics, your TVs and computers, your laptops, your desktops, what have you, and jewelry is in there in yellow. The distinguishing feature here is, things have been flat for 4 years. Right around $44 billion being paid by U.S.-based consumers for these extended warranty contracts. Hasn't really gone up much, hasn't really gone down much. There's been some adjustments in some of the categories, some rise and falls in individual categories, such as if you look at the home warranty industry, that's still growing. In fact, that's growing the fastest out of these. But with cars, with smartphones, the sad fact is that we're in a replacement market. Basically, everyone who wants a car has one. So when it gets old, you get a new one. The same with smartphones. Everybody who wants one has one. The market now is replacing. And in both those cases, I think consumers are less fearful about the vulnerability of those products and less fearful about being able to afford the repair cost should that become necessary. So here we are at $44 billion. We're looking for the next great catalyst to drive us upwards. You can contact me if you have any questions, but I think we have plenty of time after Ashok is done to delve into this a little bit deeper. Thank you, and back to Alan.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric, and of course, thank you for that update on the state of the warranty industry overall. Now, attendees, I want to remind you that Eric's presentation is going to be available for download, and also that you will be able to ask questions of Eric at the end of the presentation. You can ask those questions by posting them in the question panel in the GoToWebinar widget. All right, now I'd like to invite Ashok Kartham, who's the CEO of Mize, to share with us about best practices to optimize warranty management. So, Ashok.
Thank you, Alan. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. Bill and Eric have done a great job of sharing the warranty survey results and the state of the warranty industry. Benchmarking is a good first step to identify how you are doing compared to other companies. To optimize your warranty management, you also need to identify the best practices and then implement those practices using the right technologies and tools. Today, I will share 10 best practices based on our experience implementing warranty and software solutions for major global manufacturers. The key question I want to start with today is, what is the purpose of warranty at your company? As Bill was sharing, based on your answer, there can be 4 main warranty strategies. You could see warranty as a necessary cost because of legal and market requirements. You could use warranty as a signal of quality of your products. You could use warranty to improve customer satisfaction. Or you could use the warranty to improve customer retention and generate more revenues from that loyal customer base. Just as the survey results showed, I believe warranty's main purpose is to satisfy and retain customers. Manufacturers can transform warranty from a cost center to be a profit center through warranty cost recovery from manufacturers and sale of maintenance and service agreements, as well as sale of related products and services. Today, I will focus on the best practices for companies in this top quadrant who want to manage warranty as a profit center by delivering a differentiated customer experience. These practices are presented more in line with the customer journey, and let's start with customer onboarding. Early failure or issues with product installation or use of products can lead to customer dissatisfaction. Companies can reduce these early failures and product returns by performing pre-delivery inspections and managing these installations. Also, simplifying the registrations for channel partners and end customers helps you to capture the right customer information and assign correct warranty policies and entitlements, which can be a key input to reserves and all the other warranty management functions. You can also use this interaction to sell service contracts and generate more revenues and profits. As Eric shared, that over $50 billion industry with the consumers, or another $50 billion if we include B2B or commercial service contracts. You can further enhance this customer onboarding process through a self-service customer portal. And next, when a repair is required, same customer portal can also be used to enhance the warranty service experience for the customers. Having easy access to warranty coverages, authorized service bulletins, and also access to product knowledge can prevent unnecessary warranty repairs. You can also use this process for pre-approval of warranty claims with the service centers. The warranty service experience as well as costs are hugely impacted by the service centers and technicians performing those repairs. Enabling them with an easy access to all knowledge at the point of service will result in better diagnosis and repair decisions. That will, of course, improve the first-time fix rates and ensure customer satisfaction. Enabling technicians with the right tools will also provide more accurate data for claims. Today, most dealers and service providers have warranty administrators rekeying in the information again into a different claim system, allowing the pictures, diagnostic files, and repair data to be captured directly by technicians will provide better quality data on claims. So having a connected claim process where the information that's already existing can be easily captured and shared, will result in more accurate claims data, as well as how this data is shared with the other stakeholders in the process. Today, in addition to claims, most companies have disconnected warranty process with the different applications, for example, for returns, supplier recovery, and warranty analytics, resulting in more manual efforts and long cycle times that Bill shared about. In addition to claims, streamlining and connecting all the warranty processes will, of course, improve the data flow with all stakeholders and increase automation. To achieve the full automation, as 70% of companies have done, it's very critical that these warranty process, stakeholders, and data are fully connected as a overall warranty lifecycle management. As you all know, most manufactured products have 60 to 70% of the components and parts from suppliers. Eric's data showed the supplier share of warranty, even though it's increasing, still very small portion of the overall warranty cost. To manage warranty effectively, these suppliers need to be an integral part of the warranty and service process to improve the product quality. Even though there has been a focus on sharing claims data, most companies still have like weeks of delay and very limited data that they are sharing with the suppliers. Collaboration on warranty analysis, as well as corrective actions, will lead to increased warranty accountability and product improvements. You can reduce the size and frequency of recalls, which we are seeing a number of recently, by having more real-time data sharing to identify these emerging failures early in the process. Suppliers, as well as the quality groups within the company, also require parts to be returned, which adds to the cost of warranty. There are 3 key steps companies can take to manage these costs. First, reduce unnecessary returns by augmenting the claims data with pictures, video, and inspections and diagnostic data. When parts are required, streamline reverse logistics to reduce shipping and handling costs, or even number of companies are using direct-to-vendor shipping to avoid multiple steps in parts returns. Also, adding remanufacturing to generate profits and reduce parts cost on warranty repairs. This not only is more sustainable model, also could be a revenue generator in addition to the service contracts and other revenue sources that we talked about. In US alone, there is under $45 billion of remanufactured goods that are being sold. So there is a huge opportunity for companies to use that to reduce the cost of returns. All the data that's being captured during the entire warranty life cycle, as you all know, is very valuable, but this data mostly goes underutilized as it's very difficult to access by different people involved when it's needed. I think warranty departments have very good customer data if registrations are done right, the best install base information, and also the claim and failure data. You can derive more value by giving access to the centralized warranty insights to all stakeholders. Finance can manage, of course, the reserves. Quality and engineering can focus on product improvements. Service marketing can use this customer data to grow service contract sales. So in addition to the standard warranty, the warranty team can play a very critical role in unlocking the value of the existing install base. As Eric shared, extended warranty is over $50 billion per year for the consumers. Other industry research also clearly shows that it costs 5 times less to retain a customer than acquiring a new customer. And also the add-on sales have much higher profit margins, close to 30 to 40%, compared to the initial product sales, where profit margin is less than 10%. So adding maintenance contracts, service plans, even pre-owned warranties can add revenues and profits to the companies. Also, the growth of IoT or connected products offers an opportunity to generate revenues through value-added services, predictive maintenance, and also guaranteed uptime. This requires, again, all the revenue generation from install base, a lot more details, and will be the topic of the future webinar. Again, as you identify these best practices, they can be implemented successfully and cost effectively if we change the warranty business model. I think one of the factors that Eric was sharing too is in the first generation of warranty management improvement, number of companies have moved from legacy systems or a manual systems to more like a web-based or internet systems. But still, most of the model stayed the same. It's more sequential as a pipeline. The data goes from customers when they request repair to the dealer. Dealer does the repair, waits a few days, sends the data to OEM, and then OEM takes a few weeks to send it to the supplier. So there is a lot of time being lost, and the cycle times are still very long to be able to identify these failures early. I think the better model is to switch from this warranty pipeline model to a connected warranty platform where all the stakeholders can interact almost in real time, and the data is shared and the collaboration can be facilitated to identify these failures easily, and also this model can accelerate the flow of information and facilitate better decisions by each of the stakeholders. We have been fortunate to work with a number of world-class companies across many industries to implement these best practices using our connected platform that connects all stakeholders and service interactions. Implementing these best practices can be done incrementally over time using a roadmap to optimize the service experience and maximize customer lifetime value. In summary, customer-centric companies can transform warranty from a cost center to a profit center by connecting all stakeholders, processes, and using the connected customer experience platform to enhance all service interactions. As you look at improving warranty in 2019, I hope you will find the benchmarking data, best practices, and also industry-leading platform together can enable you to optimize warranty. Please let us know if you have any questions. Again, contact us for more detailed assessment or demo with our product managers. Thank you, Alan.
Okay, thank you also, Ashok. Thank you for all the best practices on how manufacturers can optimize their own warranty management. Now, we're going to open up for questions from the audience. And I'll remind you that you can post your questions by using the question panel in the GoToWebinar. Now, we do have our first question. Before I read it out loud, panelists, I'm going to make a suggestion as to which one of you can respond so that you know to focus closely on the question. But of course, any of the panelists are welcome to add their comments at any time. This particular first question, however, it's fairly general, and so I'm going to let any one of you decide to answer it first. This is, what is a percentage of recovery across the suppliers and industries? And so the data there then, if any of you gentlemen are able to share any kind of percentage of recovery, please go ahead.
Bill, you want to start with?
Well, I think this might fall more in Eric's realm, because those percentages come from the suppliers. Our surveys are pretty much targeted to the users of warranty management services.
Yeah, I've been wondering I guess the question is, you know, what is possible in a perfect world? And it really depends on the industry that you're looking at. The automotive industry, very hard to say if, you know, the potential is there for, you know, 30% or even 40%. We're certainly not there. The numbers that I've seen suggest to me that we're probably getting about 15 to 20%.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, this is Ashok. I think we have seen a wide range with our customers, anywhere from 5% to 40% of the actual overall warranty that's being recovered from the suppliers. That, of course, depends on what percentage of your product is sourced from the suppliers. And I think Eric's number, I agree with that as the average number, around 15 to 20% of the total warranty cost that's being recovered from suppliers today. And again, there are some best practices to not only from the recovery perspective, but involving the suppliers in analyzing the data, in finding corrective actions early, can reduce the overall warranty cost. So it's not just a metric of what percentage you are recovering. With the collaboration, I think you can reduce the overall warranty cost that we are seeing more and more companies taking that approach.
Ashok, this is Bill. While I don't know what the percentages are, and you and Eric know better than I do, what our survey has shown, though, is that the more automated the respondent's organization is with respect to its warranty management activities, the less likely cost recovery is a challenge to them. They're not challenged as much by it because they've got the automated tools to do something about it and improve their situation. So again, that's why that migration or transformation within the industry is so important, and why that flip-flop from more organizations being fully automated today than fully manual today shows a step in that direction. So we should see those percentages improve over time.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Interesting variety of answers there. I'm going to move on to the next question here, and I'm going to have to say that this is going to be for all three of you again, so please everybody pay attention. How is real-time access to suppliers and customers used or leveraged? And it's actually a two-part question, but let's answer that part first. And, oh no, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and read the second part of this also. How is the customer base protected from competition, especially when you have common suppliers? So, Ashok, what do you think? You want to take this part first here?
Definitely. I think a lot of times the real-time data can be shared with the suppliers. We do understand, I think actually later question indicates there is some lack of trust on how this information is used or leveraged. But I do think a lot of cases you can protect the customer information when you're sharing with the suppliers. Same way, even though sometimes customer can ship parts directly to suppliers, you can protect the actual supplier information, but provide some of the shipping labels and all that directly that can get the parts sent to that suppliers. And as far as the real-time access, again, companies, as they were sharing, are moving towards more and more real-time compared to the previous sequential model, even though that still is very predominant in the industry. I think in terms of trying to get, let's say, from the time a repair is done until the end, let's say, whoever is responsible for it, a supplier gets to see that information, can be reduced to like within a day when there are no return parts are involved, and or even within real time. Right? That sometimes they can make pre-approval decisions while customer is waiting at the service center. But that requires, again, as I said, like how the platform can share the right information with each of the stakeholders without affecting the privacy, as well as how companies want to protect certain information.
Okay, Bill or Eric, any additional comments on that? I'll just say when I talk with suppliers in Detroit, many of them are able to go into the Toyota or Chrysler or Ford or GM database and see their own warranty claims and in dollars and per thousand units or whatever, and also their competitors. It hasn't really been an issue. The OEMs are able to provide the privacy necessary, and it's not a problem.
And this is Bill here.
Okay.
I agree with both Ashok and Eric have said. And again, it gets to a situation where, as far as privacy and security is concerned, you've got to deal with that with regulatory compliance, compliance with the wishes of your suppliers, et cetera, and so forth. You can only deal with what you've got. And I've been covering the industry long enough to see it move from a manual process to a batch processing situation and environment to now a real-time environment for many organizations. And part of the question was, what are the benefits that come out of that, or how do you leverage that into your operations? Once again, the more automated your system is, the more interconnected it is with all facets of the warranty management activities and field service management in some cases as well, then the more likely you are to be able to move faster through the processes and reduce your cycle times. And reducing cycle times generally leads to saving more money and improving your profit. So what Ashok and Eric were saying is absolutely true, and the real-time aspect is something that I think makes everything better. It just expedites and facilitates everything.
Okay, good. Thank you very much there. So we have a very limited time, but I want to get to some other questions. Let me ask you to answer quickly with this next one. Everybody pay attention again. Has there been an increase in consumer durable goods manufacturers seeking automated solutions for warranty handling and registration? Obviously, that's one for Ashok first.
Sure. Yeah, we definitely see that. Like, number of consumer durable goods manufacturers kind of see the value of the registration as well as the managing the warranty for different purposes as we shared. And I think previously, because most of the consumer goods are sold through channels like retailers, a lot of times this registration data is not available. But I think we see more and more consumer goods manufacturers use the customer portal, mobile app, and other things to get direct registration information, and also use that to be able to reach out to the customers on additional accessories and service contracts, as well as use that to manage the warranty entitlements. So we see, I mean, compared to the heavy equipment, it's probably still less, but definitely more and more consumer durable goods or high-tech electronics, as Eric was sharing, are focusing on how to improve registrations and warranty. Bill, you have any specific data related to that?
Well, I don't have specific market data, but what I can say is that more and more of the consumer durable and consumer electronics, consumer goods organizations make it easier for their customers to register their equipment. All you have to do is hold your iPhone or iPad to the square on the form, and you're virtually instantly registered. So we see a lot of movement toward that area, more so than we've seen in earlier years.
Okay, good. Thank you very much there. All right, we have time for just one last question. Again, we need a quick answer on this one. Is there any comparison or percentage available for warranty management cost, which in parentheses would be mainly administration and software, versus the total warranty cost as cash flow? Okay, gentlemen, any opinions there?
Sure, I can probably answer that. Again, this is measured more from an IT or an administration, whereas what is the total cost of warranty in the claims. Like if you divide by that, I think it's closer to 2%, and we've seen on a other side, like maybe even 2 to 5% when you include the parts handling, the supplier management, and those kind of things. But internal, it's closer to about 2% of the total warranty cost in used to manage that warranty. Again, Bill or Eric, you have any other specific numbers?
No, I think you have a really good number there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's going to be bringing us towards the end of the webinar. We're out of time, but we will be following up with people on any remaining questions that they may have. I do want to thank all of our presenters today, and I also hope that all of our attendees found the webinar informative and useful as you continue to benchmark and optimize warranty at your company. Now, as you're a registered attendee, you're going to receive the Analyst Take Paper by Bill Pollock by email in just a few days. and you'll also be receiving an email with a link to this recording and to these presentations. All right, I do want to point out that there's going to be the Warranty Chain Management Conference, which will be the 15th annual conference in March this year in Orlando, Florida, and I do hope that we can see you there, that you will join us. And until then, please contact us to learn how you can optimize your warranty management as well. So thank you all very much for attending the webinar today. This concludes our webinar. Take care.